Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Brian Taylor, and today we're going to be talking about these guys, ice cream bananas, and how we've had some success growing them here in Phoenix, Arizona. Let's get into it. All right, so I want to talk about some tips that we can give you in order to help you be successful growing these guys here. The number one tip is, yes, they grow. And number two, yes, they fruit. Those aren't really tips, they're just facts. But these things are a little bit challenging to grow if you want to get fruit out of them. The thing about ice cream bananas is, this is a little guy behind me right here. These things get 15 plus feet tall. They're one of the taller bananas. And in Arizona, we have something called monsoons. Monsoons are not a friend to the banana plant. Without monsoon winds, you can see that the winds have literally shredded these leaves. New leaves come out and they look great, but once the wind hits them, it completely shreds the leaves. They still create photosynthesis and they still help the banana plant grow, but it doesn't make them look that pretty. So, we'll get into location in a minute, but just know that wind is going to be a factor. So you're going to definitely want to plant them in an area that has some kind of blockage for wind. When we originally planted these here, there was no other trees around. Now our neighbor's palm tree has grown very large behind it. You see a giant mulberry on one side of the tree, and then on this side we have our other mulberry and our guava. This area is kind of the area that we're not going to allow the bananas to keep thriving just because it's filling up, and we're going to put them in our kind of sanctuary area that we're having some success in. So, how you start? So you want to start out with a banana that's got a decent root system, which means you need to pick a banana that's got a little bit of size to it. You see bananas sometimes in the nurseries that they're really small. They can live. This original banana was one of those bananas. But you got to plant those in the right time of the year, which is after the last frost and before the summer hits. So like April, like now. One thing you're going to want to really consider though is, where you're getting it from. Get it from a source that you can trust, because there's a lot of people that will just sell an ice cream banana that maybe isn't an ice cream banana, but they just want to sell it, so they'll sell it with that name on it. There's a lot of good trusted nurseries here in the valley. You guys can pick and find one that you trust and pick one out from them. They do sometimes become very hard to come across. So I remember when I was originally looking for this, I couldn't find one anywhere, and it took me several months before I found one, and luckily I found one. And I have, from one banana, I think now we've had about 30 offshoots come out from that one banana. And we're gonna show you some of those offshoots right now. These are 3 of the offshoots from it right here, and there's a praying hand banana behind it, which we're not talking about today, but it's just another banana that we have. So because these get so incredibly tall, some of the factors that come into play with these is if they do produce a fruit, sometimes that fruit's going to topple it and make it fall over. And one thing that people don't understand with bananas is they're actually an herb. They're not a tree, and they don't have any woody material. So once the weight of a banana rack comes on, they get very heavy and they can easily break over and fall. We learned that with some of our first fruit. The second part is, you never know what stage it's in. It might be ready to flower in the dead of winter, and then you're probably gonna lose the banana plant and the fruit. You're not gonna lose it because they can't take the winter. We've never once protected any of our larger bananas, and they've all come out fine. The leaves die back. We leave them on all winter long, and we don't harvest them off or cut them off until spring when we see the new shoots coming out. In the winter, they just go dormant. So don't worry about winter protection. I've seen people like covering them with leaves. I've never needed to do that. To each their own. I also haven't had any fruit in the winter time, so if you guys want fruit in the winter time, then maybe you need to follow that practice, but that's not something I did. So they're very heavy feeders. If you guys look down here, we have heavy layers of wood chips just throughout. I mean, that's our soil right there. I mean, it looks pretty good. We have heavy wood chips, heavy soil. We like to feed them with anything that we can get our hands on. So I recently trimmed some castor beans, and I have their trimmings just sitting over there to decompose. If you can go by a Starbucks or a coffee place and ask them for coffee grounds. One thing that's really worked well for growth for us is coffee grounds. Actually, I noticed that when we put the coffee grounds in, we get a lot more banana shoots coming up, which is the way that you get a clone of your banana plant, because ice cream bananas don't have seeds, so you're not going to grow them from seed. They grow from a pup or a clone that comes out. Right up here, I'm going to leave a link to how to remove a banana pup. We published that video in July of 2019, and it's a very helpful guide. You can see that we got a good amount of root system, and I'm going to show you what the banana pup looks like today, the one we harvested in 2019 in our neighbor's yard. It's pretty exciting. So we'll be right back and we'll show you what we've got over there. All right, as you guys can see behind me, there's actually 2 of our transplants in our neighbor's yard that have full racks of bananas growing on them. There's one there, and there's one with even more bananas kind of tucked away that we have a support set up. I don't know if you can see the support in the video, but they have many other pups that have produced just from the one pup that I gave them, which is pretty awesome. We were able to get them to fruit one time for us to taste, which I'll include a link to that right here. I don't know if you can see it. That one is us tasting bananas that went to flower in the wintertime, so the bananas really didn't get to a very big size. They were delicious, and you can see if you watch that video my son's reaction to them. They're an amazingly sweet, unique banana flavor. It still tastes like a banana, but it definitely has some undertones of kind of a vanilla and maybe some other flavors, maybe apple even. It's kind of cool. You would like it. I wouldn't necessarily call it ice cream, but it is a little fluffier than a normal banana, and they do taste pretty darn good. So when our neighbors finally do harvest their first batches, hopefully they let us try it since we gave them the plant. That would be nice of them. But one thing we want to show you guys, so this is on our side yard area. So this is my neighbor's 2-story house, and then this is like our winter area and our 2-story house. You know, we're separated by a cinder block wall here, but even between the houses, you see that it's got some wind damage, but the houses really do block a lot of the wind, which helps protect it. They also are able to kind of absorb the heat coming from both of the houses during the winter time, and that protects them even more. These flowered in the winter time, which if mine had flowered in the winter time, they would have been done for. So planting them next to a structure, allowing them to absorb that heat is another helpful tip. Bananas like water, but bananas, unlike some other trees, really don't need a lot of water in the summertime. I'm not in the summertime, in the wintertime. Actually, if you water them, they're gonna kind of rot and die. So if you're really into your trees, don't put them in an area when you have plants that you need to do more watering. Really limit your watering to like once a month. Just make sure your soil is not going dry. In the summertime, it's so hot here that they just drink and drink and drink, so you can put them on a regular watering schedule in the summer. Each banana plant's gonna have their own capabilities and what they're gonna be able to absorb. So you need to just watch your soil, make sure it doesn't dry out, and water accordingly. The next big thing is, if you don't have room for an ice cream banana, then just get a smaller banana. There's so many varieties of smaller bananas, like Rajapuri, Namwa. We have an apple banana. I don't remember what its proper name is, but they're much smaller. They're about as tall as a grown man, and they're good bananas for smaller spaces, or if you want to grow it in a container. Because these get so big, I'm not saying it can't be done. I hate saying they can't be done, but I wouldn't recommend growing one of these in a container. I'd recommend growing them in the ground. And make sure with your soil that you can plant them in native soil, but just like anything, they appreciate the amendments. They're gonna grow a lot healthier. You saw what our soil looks like after years of wood chips. You can do that quickly by adding some really fine decomposed compost to your soil mix. It'll just help it get more organic matter in there, and they will do so much better. We also have our bananas on the same regimen that some of our other plants get, where we get the seaweed and fish emulsion fertilizing, and they seem to always spike, perk up, and love that. So you can watch your banana. If it starts like weeping, that's a sign that it either needs more water or better nutrients. So just let your banana talk to you, and it'll tell you what it needs to grow. But this is just proof, another example of proof, because I know I'm not the only guy, that you can grow these in the Phoenix Valley. We're out here in Santan Valley, so we're on the outskirts of the valley, which tells you even more likely that it's going to get colder than in Phoenix, so they can survive our cold. We've had these in direct sun. Like when we first planted them, they had no protection, and that's when we got the most pups. But like anything, they'd appreciate a little bit of relief from the sun, and they probably do better. And I think the proof of that is these that are on the side of our house, because they get sun from about probably 9:30 till about 1:30 in the afternoon, and then it's really filtered light coming in after that. So it does give them a nice relief, and they've really thrived. So hopefully you liked this video. Hopefully you learned a few things and want to give growing ice cream bananas a try. We sure do enjoy growing them, and hopefully you like this video and subscribe. Give us a nice thumbs up, tell us you liked it, and we appreciate reading the comments. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers. We need about 30 more. So subscribe, please, and we'll give you more great content. Thanks. Bye.